How many alien civilizations exist in our galaxy by science time? I'ma like their video. You feel me? Like my video. Subscribe if you're new and stuff like that. There are several alien species in our galaxy, but let's see what this video wants to talk about. In fact, you might have been an alien in the past life before. I have readings down below that can help you find out, specifically the Galactic Akashic readings. Anyway, let's get into this video.
These are
Shaboom.
ancient civilizations that were separated by centuries, and yet this same pictogram was discovered in every one of them.
It's the oldest and the greatest cosmic question of all. Are we alone in the universe?
Of
Given
course
the
not.
fact that there are countless alien worlds with conditions similar to Earth, almost nobody believes life on our planet is unique. More than 300 million worlds with similar conditions to Earth are scattered throughout the Milky Way. So perhaps a much better question is, are we alone in the galaxy?
Given the fact that we've
course
already
not.
identified 4,000 exoplanets orbiting other stars, and we have a census of the Milky Way galaxy for the first time, we know that on average, every single star has a planet going around it, and about 1/5 or so of them have Earth-sized
hold up.
planets going around.
Really? Pretty much every star on average has a planet going around it. I did not know that shit. Cause there's some star, nigga. There's stars. I've seen stars that have no planets, and I've seen planets that don't orbit a star. You feel me? And about 1/5 of those are about the same size as Earth. It's kind of wild.
It, and about 1/5 or so of them have Earth-sized planets going around them. So just do the math. We're talking about out of 100 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy, we're talking about billions of potential Earth-sized planets.
Yeah.
And to believe that we're the
But I mean, a Earth-sized planet, I don't really think that's that deep. I mean, shit, something might be the size of Earth, but has pure fucking methane as its like composition. You feel me? Ain't no human-like life gonna be on that shit. Now there could be alien life that lives off of methane. You feel me? But you get my point. Like I don't think the size is as important as like the conditions of that planet. Like that shit could be 3 times the size of Earth, but if it has all the conditions for life that this Earth has, I think that's more significant than a fucking planet that's the same size as ours, but is made of all fucking methane or some shit. You feel me?
only one is, I think, rather ridiculous given the odds. And how many galaxies are there? Within sight of the Hubble Space Telescope, there are about 100 billion galaxies. So do the math. How many stars are there in the visible universe? 100 billion galaxies times 100 billion stars per galaxy. We're talking about a number beyond human imagination. And
Yeah.
to believe that we're the only ones, I think, is rather ridiculous.
Yeah, that's kind of
For
wild,
more
right?
than 60 years, all we had to answer this question was the Drake equation, which
The Drake
suggested
equation?
there were probably
Drake?
between 1,000 and 100 million planets with civilizations in the Milky Way galaxy.
Damn.
Now, scientists
1,000 to damn nigga, 1,000 to 100 million. By the way, obviously this isn't like proven. This is just like off of math. They're just hypothesizing using math, right? But damn, between 1,000 and 100 million planets, bro, that's wild.
100 million planets with civilizations in the Milky Way
It's
galaxy.
wild. Just in our
Now,
galaxy.
scientists at the University of Nottingham think they've come up with a new cosmic evolution-based calculation that suggests that there are to be at least 36 ongoing intelligent civilizations in our Milky Way
At least 36, 30. They said, nah, that 100 million is too much, nigga. It's about like 36.
galaxy. Intelligent alien civilizations are ranked using the Kardashev scale, which is a method of measuring a civilization's level of technological advancement based on the amount of energy it is able to use.
Well, first of all, we have to understand the level of sophistication of an alien life form if we make contact with them. I think in this century, we'll probably pick up signals from an extraterrestrial civilization, just ordinary day-to-day transmissions that they emit. And the first thing we want to do is to decipher their language, of course.
Let me put y'all on, bro. A lot of the reason why niggas haven't found aliens physically yet is because, nigga, mad long ago, when they were physical, nigga, they decided to fucking ascend to higher planes and live inside those planes. I mean, I think a lot of niggas already know that, but I just want to emphasize that. The fact that most of these beings were physical at some point, but that was fucking hundreds of thousands of years ago, bro. You feel me? Like, shit, there's some beings that weren't physical. I mean, let me say it like this, and then I'll be more specific. There's some beings that ain't been physical for millions of years. Now, granted, like let's say it's like an alien race called the fucking Urvandadorfs, right? Most of the Urvandadorfs haven't been physical for millions of years, but some of them might have still became physical for a small period of time, is what I'm trying to say. So there's some aliens who mainly on like a grand scale, they haven't really been physical for millions of years. Now, occasionally they might become physical for a little bit to do a little bit of things, but them niggas tend to be in higher planes, bro. Facts.
But B, figure out at what level they are advanced on the Kardashev scale. I'm a physicist. We rank things by two parameters, energy and information. That's how we rank black holes. That's how we rank stars. That's how we rank civilizations in outer space. So a type 1 civilization is capable of harnessing planetary power. They control the weather, for example. Earthquakes, volcanoes, they can modify the course of geologic events. Type 2 would be stellar. They play with stars, entire stars. They use the entire energy output of a star, sort of like Star Trek. The Federation of Planets have colonized the nearby stars. So a Type 2 would be somewhat similar to Star Trek. Type 3 would be galactic. They roam the galactic space lanes. And Type 3 would be like Star Wars, a galactic civilization.
Late English theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking warned us to stop reaching out to aliens before it's too late, as they might not turn out to be the friendly kind we hope for. Hawking said,
Now, that is facts, though. Niggas should think about that shit. You sending all these waves into outer space. Don't know who the fuck you contacted, nigga. You think you about to fucking contact the angel? Nah, bitch, it's a reptilian. Cook your shit.
as I grow older, I am more convinced than ever that we are not alone. One day we might receive a signal from a planet like Gliese A32c, but we should be wary of answering back. If we are indeed not alone in the galaxy, and an alien civilization has ill intentions towards us, it's already too late, as we've already been broadcasting our location to the universe for years.
Right?
I mean, it's pretty obvious to me that we are probably not alone. We tend to think that we are special, but that's a sign of immaturity. We have our technology only for 100 years, and it's evolving exponentially right now on a 3-year timescale. So imagine what would happen in 100 years, in 1,000 years, in 1,000,000 years, or in 1,000,000,000 years. Now, the sun is actually relatively late in the star formation history of the universe. Most of the sun-like stars formed earlier, and some of them already died, became white dwarfs. If you imagine that a civilization like ours existed around a typical sun-like star, by now, if they survived, they could be 1,000,000,000 years old. And then imagine 1,000,000,000-year technology. It would look like magic to us, an approximation to God. We wouldn't be able to understand it. In my view, we should be humble. And by the way, we should probably just listen and not speak. There is a risk if you are inferior. There is a risk if you speak too loudly, something bad may happen to you.
Given the fact that we are currently in the dark with no evidence and can only estimate the number of alien civilizations in our galaxy from as low as a handful to as much as 100 million planets with civilizations in the Milky Way, there is also an unpopular, albeit possible answer. Almost nobody believes we are alone in the universe. But when it comes to a technological civilization in our galaxy, maybe we are it.
I don't necessarily think that we're the only ones in the observable universe, which goes out, roughly 14 billion years in light travel time, and more like, 46 billion years when you take into account the expansion of space. So the diameter of our observable universe is something like, 92 billion light years. that encompasses 100 billion to a trillion galaxies with, 100 billion stars each. So now you're talking about something like 10 to the 22nd, 10 to the 23rd power stars and roughly an equal number of Earth-like planets and so on. So there may well be other intelligent life, but we may well be the only ones in our Milky Way galaxy. At most a handful, I'd say, but I'd probably side with the school of thought that suggests we're the only ones in our own galaxy, just because I don't see human intelligence as being a natural evolutionary path. I mean, there's a number of arguments. First of all, there's been more than 10 billion species of life on Earth. Nothing has approached our level of intelligence and mechanical ability and curiosity. Whales and dolphins appear to be reasonably intelligent, but there's no evidence that they can think.
That actually is a pretty valid point. There is mad species on this earth, but there ain't shit like us, bro. There ain't shit like us at all, bro. It's kind of interesting to think about. Now, I have other thoughts going on about how, like, that wouldn't really be that deep, I guess, because, like, for example, they say that humans come from apes, which we partially do, right? And it's like apes are still on this bitch, and apes can still evolve to become humans too, right? You feel me? But at the same as that time, it's like, why aren't they doing that right now? Like, why aren't the apes becoming humans right now? You feel me? You feel what I'm trying to say? Interesting thought, right? But I'll just watch. Let me just finish up this video. You feel me?
Abstract thoughts that they're curious about the world. They certainly can't build machines with which to study the world. So that's one argument. Secondly, we came about as early hominids only 4 or 5 million years ago, and as Homo sapiens only about 250,000 years ago. So for the vast majority of the history of life on Earth, an intelligent alien zipping by Earth would have said there's nothing particularly intelligent or mechanically able. Thirdly, it's not clear that our intelligence is a long-term evolutionary advantage. Now, it's clear that in the last 100 years, 200 years, we've improved the lives of millions, hundreds of millions of people, but at the risk of potentially destroying ourselves.
In recent years, some astronomers have tried to put more empirical emphasis behind.
Have y'all ever thought about what's the next stage of our evolution? Like, we, right, come from like apes and shit, right? Okay. Right? So apes turned into us. What the fuck do we turn into? You ever thought about that shit? You feel me? Now I have a pretty good idea, but I ain't gonna say shit.
And the number of alien civilizations in our galaxy. They have focused on two great unknowns: the odds of life arising on Earth-like planets from abiotic conditions, a process called abiogenesis, and from there, the odds of intelligence emerging. Even with such estimates in hand, astronomers still disagree about what they mean for life elsewhere in the cosmos. When it comes to the question, are there other civilizations in the Milky Way, the scientific community is divided, as one half point out to the sheer number of Earth-like planets, so we can't possibly be alone, while the other half demands hard evidence. After all,
I never understood why niggas be fighting so hard to find like an Earth-like planet, because I get it in the sense of like, oh, well, we have life on Earth, so clearly our Earth has conditions for life. But our Earth has conditions for our kind of life. Like, what if alien life doesn't need what the fuck we need? What if alien life needs to fucking breathe nitrogen and fucking hydrogen all day and not oxygen? You feel what I'm trying to say, bro? So, like, some like the craziest planets might be the perfect conditions for that kind of life. You feel what I'm trying to say?
Galaxy was teeming with life. Where are all the aliens?
The Fermi paradox. If they're common, where the hell are they? And, SETI has been now, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence has been scanning the
fuck, got the
skies.
hiccups
And
again.
true, we've only looked a couple of hundred light years out, and that's a tiny fraction of the whole galaxy, a tiny fraction of these 100 billion plus stars. Nevertheless, if the galaxy were teeming with life, especially intelligent life, you'd expect some of it to have been far more advanced than ours. The chemical evolution of our galaxy was such that billions of years ago, nuclear processing in stars had built up clouds of gas after their explosion that were rich enough in heavy elements to have formed Earth-like planets. So there could be civilizations that are billions of years ahead of ours. And if you look at the exponential growth of technology among Homo sapiens in the last couple of hundred years, and you just project that forward, there's no telling what they could have achieved even in 1,000 or 10,000 years, let alone a million or 10 million or a billion
God
years.
damn.
And if they reach this capability of interstellar travel and colonization, then you can show that within 10 million years, or certainly 100 million years, you can populate the whole galaxy. So then you don't have to have tried to detect them beyond 100 or 1,000 light years. They would already be here.
All right.
Thanks for watching.
That didn't really answer our question. Granted, I didn't think that actually give us like a direct answer, but it was a cool little thought experiment. I'm ending the video right here. Though, like my video, subscribe if you're new. Love you all. Catch you on my next video. Peace. The Freak out.